Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Thursday, August 5th. I hope you guys all had a great day. Markets were presenting some good opportunities, so I hope you guys were able to take advantage of some of those there. Tomorrow's the big day, though. Jobs report coming out tomorrow morning, so we got the stocks moving a little higher. We'll see if they continue that trend tomorrow. As the economy continues to open up, it sounds like maybe there's going to be a little bit more, maybe a little slowdown. Amazon right now is one of the big ones postponing return to office. They're now saying we're going to wait until January of 2022, so another 8 months or so before they return to their office. Dr. Fauci now saying that we could potentially see 100,000 cases of COVID daily here in the United States. A lot going on there. Like I said yesterday, really focus on paying attention to some of the news that's coming out of this. Being patient, not reacting to the news, waiting for those markets to tell you what to pay closer attention to. But hey, it's a fun-filled day. Stocks are up. Crude oil's up. Crude oil kind of got a nice little bounce off that $68 mark here today. Really a good opportunity off the open. Broke down to $68, rallied higher. S&P 500 from the open. It's a trade I took today as well. We didn't really make that look lower. We never made that attempt towards settlement price. Great opportunity for a long and run that thing higher. Same principle applies almost for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ did make the touch off a settlement price, touched it to the tick, rallied from there. Gold, on the other hand, all day long, moving lower. Once that equity market opened, gold really took it out the bottom and kind of bounced a little bit there where the euro floated settlement all day long today. In my opinion, euro was not even worth looking at trading since about 8 o'clock this morning. And treasuries, they were down when Hogue started speaking. They continued lower. And so we got a nice little down day there on the treasuries. So those are things that we've got going on all over the place. And that's what we got. Let's see here. Questions. Or say hello to everyone. Bill, good to see you. Scott, drones over Texas. Tanya, Norman, Lemur. Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. And Tanya, how do you feel post-COVID? Any after effects? No, I feel fine. I find myself a little tired more. Maybe that's just because I'm going nonstop. I will say I did get one of the vaccines, and I think that one took me. I had a harder recovery from that than I did the actual COVID. I had it relatively closer to the time that I had COVID, and they said you should expect higher reactions. That's about it for me. I know my mother had COVID almost a year ago now and still is struggling to get her smell and taste back. And I've heard that from other people. So if you guys had it, how you feeling? Hopefully everything's all right, and hopefully you won't be worried about or won't catch this new strain that's out there. Let's hope we all steer clear of that one. Just staying safe, washing our hands, and using some common sense and being smart about things. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here today and see what we've got going on. Yes, no more cough. Thank gosh. That was the hardest part, was getting over that cough, Tanya. I really struggled with that one. All right, here we go. We've got crude oil. And here's what I'm loving to see. We're showing a shelf, right? There's a ton of different ways. We got a little support. We got a shelf. These are things that I like to pay attention to if I can find opportunity around them. And that's what we got here right off the open. We came down and we got pretty darn close to that overnight low. We're floating that 67.80 mark. That's what I'm paying attention to. So off this open, now I can look and say, if I'm going to go short, I got to start to see some lows, and maybe my short I'm going to put on the other side of yesterday's value area low. That's a really hard short for me to take if I haven't accepted below, right? That's what we're looking for. When markets approach these levels, we're looking for acceptance. Market tested below this multiple times in the overnight. Never accepted. We accepted back inside. Opened up. We made another attempt down to yesterday's value area low, near those overnight lows. To me, this is a great opportunity. Look where we're at. We came right down to 67.87, approximately there. We got an overnight low at 67.61. We've got yesterday's Regular trading hour low, 67.85. So to me, I'm probably okay myself in my own trading. I'm very comfortable risking 30 cents in a trade when it comes to crude oil. Not everyone's the same. And that's something important to recognize. Not everyone has the same appetite for risk. So when you are seeing these prices and these levels trading, if risking 30 cents is a little bit too steep for you, which is absolutely okay, maybe that's not really the trade for you just yet. Maybe you have to look a little bit different. We've got settlement price in this market at 68.15. So we get settlement price all the way up here. So then maybe we're waiting for the pullback. Once we get towards settlement price and yesterday's point of control, that's where we're starting to look to see if we can catch that long, and we're putting our stop just on the other side of that. Those are things you want to recognize for yourself. Just because it's coming into a good area and you do see potential opportunity, you got to ask yourself, can you afford the risk in that trade? I personally can afford 30 cents. Doesn't mean everyone can. Maybe you can risk more. Maybe you can risk less. And that's when we got to look for better entry points, right? We're not just taking the trade because, hey, it looks like a good trade if it's going to be much greater than what you standardly take in that risk. So that's something I want you to always think about. Yeah, we show a lot of areas for opportunity in these trades, and you got to ask yourself, can I afford that risk? If so, then I can execute. If I can't, I have to wait for a better entry location. Next, let's look over here at the S&P 500. Settlement price in the S&P 500 was all the way down here, 43.94 3/4, 43.93 3/4. And market opens up. We make a little bit of a pullback. So you guys know me, I'm running a lot of different moving averages on my charts. So here we've got our 20 EMA. I also run VWAP. I also run a couple different things. This morning, I was looking at this open. I looked at the open, and I didn't think there was enough participation in the order flow saying that this market was going to make the move to settlement price. We have a lot to get through to get to settlements, right? We've got visually, you can see an extreme visualization at yesterday's value area high. So to me, on the open, I'm looking at this little bit of a pullback here, and that's saying here's some good opportunity. If we start to see this pullback, we saw opened up, strong rally, never made the attempt lower. You've got a couple options for entry. If you're looking to get it off the open, you see you've got opportunity right here, yesterday's value area high. This is where I went long. I put my stop below the range, below yesterday's value area high. I didn't have a huge stop on this. I was recognizing there's a lot of participation right at this price. I decided to go ahead and take the long, and I was looking to come check Tuesday's point of control here. We have taken off and we've continued in a very strong direction. So you missed the first point. We see here the attempt to close the gap to settlement price and accept in yesterday's value area. We did not do either of those. So if we miss the initial pullback, we're looking for another chance. We got another chance right around 9 o'clock this morning. Market pulled right back once again. Came to yesterday's regular trading hour high. Another great opportunity to get in on directional move. So you've got a couple chances here for the long to get to the upside. And you had another one here in the later on throughout the day. A little bit after lunchtime, you started to see this market pull back once again to the same point. And that to me is, if you're trading size, it's a point where you can add into your trade, right? You're coming into the same level, market showing well, we like where we're at. We still have a key location there you can add into it. So just a couple of trade opportunities here today in this market. Next, let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ settlement price yesterday was 15,073 half. 15,073 half. And notice where we came to right off the open. We check settlement price, and what do we say all the time? Settlement is going to do one of two things. It's going to accelerate or create a springboard. Well, I don't know about you, but this is the perfect setup to go long in the NASDAQ or in any market. We came to overnight low. We came to yesterday's value area high. Huge opportunity to take a long with extremely tight risk. I think that was a very simple high probability setup. 3 key levels coming into one location for us to look for that chance. Hopefully you guys saw that. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of that one right off the open. If not, same principle applies as we talked about in the S&P. If you miss the initial move, you do believe and you have conviction that that market's going in the upward direction because everything's telling us it is. We're just looking for that next pullback. We got another one right down here, right down to our moving averages, which, as long as it stays up above that moving average, in theory or fundamentally, that market should continue in the direction. We pull right back to the moving averages, there's another chance to go long. So 2 great chances to go long in this NASDAQ and really take advantage of a nice 60, 70, 80 point move. All right, gold. Like we said, gold opened up this morning. The break was on, and it continued through the equity open. And then we started to see, this is what you start to pay attention to, right? You start to see volume slump off as market is making lows, but we're starting to see that volume slumping. So basic principles of volume, right? If we see market moving in a direction, but volume is decreasing, look for market to stall and possibly reverse. Well, it stalled. We got a slight reverse here back into yesterday's value area. It could not accept and hold up above, and it came right back down. So this is what we're paying attention. This is why volume is so important. Watching that volume. If we're starting to see volume slide down like this, but we're still moving in a direction, look for the basic principles of volume to play out. Doesn't mean you're going to get the reversal, but it does mean you have an opportunity to possibly find an entry. Now, if you were short, that's where you want to pay attention to and say, hey, this is a great indication to get out of this trade. Volume is decreasing. I need to get out of this and maybe look for that next opportunity. Now, like we said, Euro, really a quiet day since John spoke this morning. I mean, this to me is just pure chop. Floated around point of control yesterday. Settlement price in this is 118.47 half. So a little bit up, a little bit down. I'm not trading this. I didn't see a darn thing. That to me is a really tough trade when you see this kind of chop. And then lastly, we're going to look at the Treasury. Remember, Treasury and gold, they tend to have a high probability. Gold broke, and you saw Treasuries breaking as well. It's tough if you're not in on that initial move. So where we start looking for opportunity? Well, we're going to start to look for that chance as we approach yesterday's value area low. Are we accepting below it? Are we going to stay inside? Well, we moved right through. And here's where we're starting to look. I'm starting to see that this market's looking to accept. I'm looking at a pullback here right around 9 o'clock this morning. We pulled right back to, value area low yesterday. This was our chance to say trend is on. Not often do treasuries give us a decent pullback where we can manage our risk so we can get in on this trade, and we're only risking a few ticks to get on the trade and go with the continuation of the trend. So to me, this was a rare opportunity with a bigger range day in a market that tends to stay relatively tight. All right, guys, those are our markets here today. I hope you guys have all had a wonderful day so far. Weekend is almost here. Jobs number tomorrow morning, so be patient tomorrow morning. Remember, that's 7:30 a.m. Central Time. That will be tomorrow morning, so be patient. Wait for that opportunity. Jacob, good to see you. George, good afternoon. Drones over Texas, nice demonstration. Easy R&R application. That's the goal. I mean, I'm a simpleton. I like to keep it, what is the acronym? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. That's how I trade. I like to keep things very simple. I'm looking for simple risk reward. I'm not taking tons of trades in a day. There are a lot of days I don't trade. There are some days like today when I found a couple really great opportunities, and I have a nice day. So those are the days that I like to capitalize on. There's a lot of people out there talk about trading A setups and B setups and C setups. I'm of the opinion you trade one setup. If it's an A setup, you take it. If it's a B setup, to me, that's not a good enough trade. I'm not going to take that trade. I'm looking for those A setups. Maybe if I'm testing something, I'll do that a little bit smaller size, maybe in a sim account where I'll test something. But I'm only taking those high probability trades. You guys know my biggest trade. I'm pretty vocal about it. I take it regularly. I'm looking for it in every single market that I trade, closing that gap to settlement price. If we open up away from settlement, the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking for it to close the gap. Today, S&Ps, I went long as opposed to expecting it to close the gap. And we were in a good location. My risk to short it was a little bit higher. I liked my opportunity where I was at based off of some of the other technicals that we do look at, and everything is pretty clear. I wasn't looking at a whole lot today that I wasn't talking about or wasn't looking at on a daily basis with everyone else here. Came out to be a great setup for perspective. If you were long that and you closed out kind of towards the end of the day here, that would have been $800 a contract, something like that. So good return on days like that. You know, crude or the NASDAQ pulled back right to settlement price. Now, if I'm pulling back to settlement price, I'm also looking at opportunity every time the market is at settlement. Same principle applies, right? I'm looking for markets to react at settlement, whether it's going to bounce and return or whether it's going to accelerate through. I'm always looking for an opportunity. The NASDAQ was such a spectacular setup today off a settlement price, came down to overnight lows, yesterday's value area high, and settlement. We have three key high important levels coming into play. We are allowed to keep our stops extremely tight there, and we can take that long. And the best part about that is it popped really nicely. We were able to sit in that trade all day long. If we went long settlement price, you're sitting on, at the moment, looks like about an 85-point winner. So there's always some opportunity out there. And the more confident and the more consistent you get with those types of trades and the higher probability win rate you have on them, that's when you can start to increase size and really capitalize on those profits. And that's how you start to build these accounts. That's what this is all about. It's, you know, paying ourselves is one thing, but also we want to build these accounts. We want to create some opportunity cushion. That's when we can start to size up. I think everyone wants to get in this and trade with a lot of size. And I'll just be completely blunt. It takes a lot of money to start to build size. So work on building those account balances. Grow that before you start to size up, because as you guys know, if you're trading on $5,000, trading 2 lots, that can go fast. It can go extremely fast. $2.50 move in crude oil can knock that right out. You know, if you take a 30-cent loser on every single trade in crude oil and you're trading 2 lots, all you got to do is lose a few trades and you're pretty darn close to losing that account. Scott, great question. So settlement price is calculation. It's very close to last price traded on pit close. There is a calculation to it. It usually posts about 15 minutes after pit close. So I don't know the exact calculation. You can find it in multiple different places. So if you have a quote board, on every quote board for every platform has the tab settlement price to add in there. I have that in every single one of my quote boards. I have a lot of different quote boards. I look at a few different platforms. Every single one. And I have always highlighted. Bright yellow is what my quote board shows. So you can add it there. You can find it on the CME's website. A lot of domes as well show that as it scrolls through. It'll highlight a specific color. CME website. John will mention it every morning during the forecast as well. So there's a lot of different places to find it. But yeah, cmegroup.com. You can click on your product. It'll tell you exact settlement price for that, as well as having it on your quote board. It always is a column you can add in there. Stacking Bananas, good to see you as well. Awesome. All right, everybody. Oh, before I forget, let's just touch on a couple things going on. We've got Bitcoin, big rally here today. Rallies from little under 38,000 up to 41,040. Nice move there. We've got, let's check out our other stocks here. Well, we'll start with Airbnb. We're in the money again, $150.32. We held on to that on the break down to 130s, and we've returned back into the money there. AMC, a nice little pop on that one, $33. GameStop got a little bit there. Remember, we were down pretty hefty on that one yesterday. That one's a nice little 4.5% pop up to 153. This Robinhood. Remember yesterday we were talking about Robinhood and Robinhood rallied all the way up to $70. I wonder how many people dumped that had access to sell that one. You gotta think about it. There's limitations. Those early investors, they probably have a certain hold time that they have. So it looks like, I'm going to guess a numerous amount of people saw it up at 70. They took their profits. Remember, a lot of people involved just using Robinhood had access to that stock to buy it on the IPO. I wouldn't be surprised. They were locking in some profits, and good for them. They're still up overall. We're trading $51 a share there. And then lastly, Tesla, which we've been watching for the last 2 years, still holding up above $700. Another update here today, $714 there. And VIX, no surprise, stock market higher. VIX is down 17.3. All right, now lastly, this date in history. Oh, real quick, economic calendar one last time tomorrow. Jobs number, the jobs report, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Be flat. Just be flat if you got outrights. And then you got Baker Hughes rig count tomorrow at noon. All right, and lastly, this date in history. Got a couple to mention. 1962, Marilyn Monroe was found dead. Then you've got, there were some good ones. 1958, the first transatlantic telegraph cable was completed. That one's pretty wild. We got our first ever federal income tax here in the United States in 1861, imposed by President Abraham Lincoln. 1957, the wild show American Bandstand went national. In 1983, Risky Business launched Tom Cruise acting stardom there. And that's what I got for us, guys. John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. I look forward to seeing all you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.